It can come when you least expect it.
Steve, you're not gonna believe this!
It's like Publishers Clearinghouse. I thought nobody ever wins those things.
I had no idea what this would develop into.
Or when you most need it.
Well, there was just no money for anything.
Yes! Got a winner at last!
It can buy you freedom.
Just every day's a weekend. Every day's a Saturday for me.
Or make you a prisoner.
I started getting paranoid at that point.
Overnight, it can change your life.
They didn't even know me till now, those people out there.
No one knows the highs and lows better than the winners who became instant millionaires.
I'm Mrs. Megabox.
Money. Those who don't have it want it, and those who have it want more. There's the old-fashioned way to make money, through hard work. But everyone dreams of instant riches. It can be a game of chance, a test of intelligence, or just plain old good luck. From the lottery to casinos, to the newest rage, television game shows that promise sudden wealth, everybody wants to become an instant millionaire.
I buy everyone houses, and then I buy cars.
I'd work when I want to.
Invest the money, retire young, run through the streets naked.
The lure of the excitement of becoming a millionaire, I think, is something that captures all of us. We all have the dream. We all share the dream. So this is one way to chase it.
Well, look at this.
A lot of people who come to Vegas, they're looking for that big win. They're looking for the mega bucks. This time I'm going to win. This time I'm going to be able to buy that thing. This time I'm going to pay my bills. To me, if I win something, that's a bonus.
Las Vegas, a mecca for dreamers. A flashy boulevard of casinos offering the promise of untold riches. But it's a fantasy land that usually takes more than it gives. Everyone knows the risks of losing, but sometimes winning can come with a huge price tag. John Tippin found out the hard way when he dropped a handful of silver dollars into a megabuck slot machine that had a prize of almost $12 million. Instantly, he was catapulted into the public eye and forever into slot machine history.
It's never ever been in my mind in the 20 years that I've been coming here. It's overwhelming. And they don't train you for this kind of stuff.
Look, 21! Right, I'll give you two.
For John Tippin, gambling was second nature. He played games of chance since childhood, growing up as a plowboy in rural Oklahoma. It was often his only entertainment.
It doesn't matter on whether it's 25 cents or $5 or 10,000 on the crap table. It's the game that is exciting to me. Coming from a small farming community in Oklahoma, I grew up with my buddies. We didn't have TV or anything, playing poker. And we learned at 8 years old or everything, and it's always been a part of my life.
By age 50, John had created a good life for himself. Both he and his wife Stella had high-level management positions with the U.S. Postal Service in Hawaii. As a labor relations specialist, John earned a comfortable living, and whenever possible, traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada to indulge in his favorite pastime, gambling. He loved the risk, the thrill of the game, the chance of the lucky strike.
Before Megabucks, Vegas was an outlet for me and Stella to relieve our work stresses.
There's always a chance for that big one, and you just can't seem to wait for the next hand. And it's a thrill. It's just the anticipation. Maybe it's the suspense of probably when you're gonna get it, and winning jackpots. That's what I'm there for.
In January of 1996, John and Stella made one of their frequent visits to Las Vegas. They played the high-stakes rooms, games like Baccarat, blackjack, and video poker. They spent little time playing the slot machines, but every trip, there was one slot they'd play, the Megabucks, a machine that offered a multi-million-dollar jackpot. Megabucks is known as a linked progressive game. With 745 machines connected throughout Nevada and a base prize of $7 million, the prize increases with every player. It's the biggest slot machine jackpot in the world.
Well, out of every dollar that's played into a machine, a few pennies will go towards the mega jackpot. And that's you see on a meter. It grows on the meter, and the progressive jackpot that's on the machine is an indication of what you'll win if you line up the winning symbols.
On January 27, 1996, Megabucks had reached its all-time high, $11.9 million.
Oh, you give me another challenge, Lewis. I got you.
Still groggy from playing blackjack until sunrise that morning, John ambled onto the casino floor at the Las Vegas Hilton around midday, looking for his wife.
This is where Stella was playing. This is where I found her when I came down in the morning. So Stella always plays these, and when I came down to see her, she had like 400 credits on here already, which is a very good day, $400. I sat down beside her, and mine wouldn't give me spit. So I only stayed about a half hour.
John made his way through the casino, playing various games, until finally he worked his way to the Megabucks machines.
Well, every trip I make to Vegas, I make it a rule to play at least one rack, which is $100 on the Megabucks. Just because you're in Vegas, that's the thing to do. And at that point, the Megabucks had never been that high before, ever. So you can't just walk past it and not at least play one rack.
John dropped a handful of coins into the machine, $9 in all, and began to play.
So I was down to only 3 credits left in this machine. And I was sitting here like this, looking back, looking around the floor to see where I was going to go next. And I pushed the button.
One by one, the winning eagles lined up. The lights began to flash, and the bell began to ring.
And I didn't remember hearing the bells and whistles go off. The first thing I remember is the people screaming. And I looked back around and I didn't even know what I had.
John had hit the big one, $11,968,359. He'd become the world record slot machine jackpot winner. For the next 25 years, he would receive an annual check for almost $500,000.
My first conscious thought was not a good one, because people were already coming around me, and I thought, oh my God, my life has just changed.
Whisked away from the excitement on the casino floor, John was taken to the Verona suite at the top of the Hilton, a 15,888 square foot penthouse apartment so lavish that only the truly super rich are allowed to stay there.
Get ready to knock your socks off. Oh my, it hasn't changed.
There's room after room full of art and antiques. $50,000 marble top tables from Italy. Treasures from French castles.
Fireplaces everywhere. Look at this. Wow, wow. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I'm just a plowboy from Oklahoma. What am I doing in a place like this?
Thinking that after a few interviews and photographs, he could begin to adjust to his windfall, John agreed to sign the media release. But quickly, he found the constant media attention overwhelming. Everybody wanted a piece of John Tippin, but all John wanted was to be left alone.
My wife thinks I was very calm and that I was very rational when I was talking to the media. Inside, I was just all turmoil, like a tornado.
Back home in Hawaii, the pressure continued. There were endless calls and letters from around the world asking for money and help. He couldn't leave his home without being gawked at, followed, and touch for good luck.
It was just horrible. And I started getting paranoid at that point. I started fearing that someone would kidnap Stella or me or whatever.
The last straw came when someone tried to steal his identity, diverting his mail to an address in Nevada. Fear and paranoia took over. John withdrew from public life.
I was just starting to get terrified. I just wanted to make everything disappear.
For almost 3.5 years, John stayed underground. Careers were abandoned. Friendships slipped away. He and Stella fled their small condo, then quietly moved into a new home on the 21st floor of a tight security building.
And I didn't even take any clothes or suitcase or piece of furniture. I walked out of my own place and I haven't been back. It's still there. I still own it. I think the goldfish might have died by now.
Finally, relief came for John and Stella when a new Megabucks winner took the title of world record jackpot holder. After more than a year of celebrity, the attention declined. Now, they could be the masters of their own lives.
I would say it's about a year ago, I finally decided that, you know, all of this is within my control. I dictate how my life should be. And I decided that I'm tired of all this dodging and hiding and running. And I decided I've learned a lot, I've educated myself, I can deal with the media, but I do it on my terms now.
Today, John and Stella often return to what they call their home away from home, Las Vegas.
I will be here for John. We'll be here 24 hours a day with butler service to take care of any John's needs and his wife's.
But now, they only travel first class, and they're treated like royalty.
Now I fly in, I'm picked up by limo, I'm taken to a high suite, I'm given all the show tickets, I'm given everything.
And the casinos pay for just about everything.
All the casinos know that I'm going to be paid for another 25 years. They don't like my business. So I'm treated very well.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're here safely. All right. Steve's going to take you up to your room.
5 years ago, I was still that plowboy from Oklahoma. Today, I realize I'm a millionaire with clout. And in this town, clout works. I came to the right place at the right time.
After years of emotional struggling, John is finally at peace with his win. Today, he's writing a book about his experiences, a textbook of sorts to guide other big jackpot winners through the highs and lows of instant wealth.
I think when you come to that adjustment where you understand that you're not a bad person because you're not giving it away to everybody, that's when I finally decided that, okay, I'm at peace with this now. I'm a good person. I'm helping as I can. And now go forward.
Though John became an instant millionaire, he didn't become instantly happy. Having huge wealth, especially public wealth, can bring fear, responsibility, and loss. It did for John Tippin. But finally, it also brought happiness and peace of mind.
I just decided from now on, the roller coaster is just going high. And I'm in control. And I'm ready to have some fun with it. And I'm ready to share my experiences. That's why I came out. Tua! Tua!
All over the world, the lottery offers the promise of riches, a chance to make dreams come true. Everyone has a fantasy of what they do with the money. Doug Wood dreamt for years of hitting the jackpot. So when he won almost $4 million, he knew just what to do with his money. He couldn't give it away fast enough.
I used to put myself to sleep of a night, dreaming that I'd won about £9 million on the lottery and what I would do with it. which charities I would support and send money to, etc.
At age 58, the future looked bleak for Doug Wood. Laid off from his job as a clerk in a stockbroker's office, he'd been unemployed for 3 years and was living on meager public assistance. His home was a cold, drafty, run-down flat in a small seaside town outside of London.
Before I won the lottery, life was an absolute misery. Well, there was just no money for anything.
I think he was a bit despondent because of his age, and he thought, when you get to 50, you're not going to get anything, are you?
At the age of 58, as I was then, I had no chance of getting a job. It was just a matter of living on social security benefits. No future whatsoever.
But in September of 1995, Doug's luck began to change. First, there was the Sunday night bingo game.
And I didn't feel particularly lucky, but on the very last house of the day, I won £1,007, which, if you're unemployed on £44 a week, is an absolute fortune. Thanking you.
Then, on Thursday, a 1.5-pound horse racing bet paid back £1,500. In 5 days, he'd won a total of £2,548, almost $4,000 US.
It was a terrific week, it really was.
Flush with extra cash, Doug decided to spend more than his usual £3 on the lottery. Instead, he invested £5 on lottery tickets.
I mean, I've got this £1,000, so I upped my stakes. I could afford it. And luckily I did, because it was the fourth line that actually won.
It's the 44th National Lottery live.
On September 16, 1995, Doug sat down to watch the Saturday Night Lottery show on television. The jackpot was equivalent to $33 million US. As the balls dropped, Doug watched as the numbers lined up.
I'm watching TV, watching the lottery show, and I thought, those numbers look familiar. I hope it's not the same as last week. The week before, I'd had 6 numbers, but they were on different lines.
And number 41, this week's bonus, number 5.
So I went and got my ticket out and checked it off, and there they were, all 6 numbers. I'm thinking, Christ, this is going to change my life forever.
Doug Wood had become an instant millionaire. That night, there were 7 other winners of the £22 million prize. Doug's share was £2.68 million, almost $4 million US.
I rang, put in my claim, and they said, we'll come back to you in about an hour. Don't tell anybody. Fair enough. First thing I do is tell my sister. Morning, darling.
Kathy Tanner, Doug's friend of 15 years, and the manager of the booking shop where he places his horse racing bets, remembers when Doug won.
He came in the shop on the Tuesday, his normal self, morning beautiful, came up to the counter, gave me this piece of paper, he said, have a read of that. And I burst into tears. I just burst into tears. He said, well, aren't you going to say anything? So I came from behind the counter, went and I said, well, give us a hug then. I said, oh, I've never hugged a millionaire before. He went, multi-millionaire. And I said, no, don't get cocky like you know.
That Monday, Doug quietly received his check for £2.68 million. He rejected the Lottery Commission's request to make his win public. While most people relish the fame that comes with instant wealth, Doug wanted no part of the fanfare.
They asked me if I was willing to go public, and I said no. I wanted to keep it under wraps. There was so much media coverage and hounding of people, and I didn't want any of that. So I said no, that was it.
Just as he dreamed, Doug began to give his money away. to family and causes dear to his heart. First, there were six-figure checks to his brother and sister. Then private donation checks of £25,000 each to a local mammogram center, the Salvation Army, and Doug's favorite charity, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. In the first week alone, Doug gave away £480,000, almost $750,000.
There are so many charities that I want to give to. I want to give it to people that really need it or deserve it.
Doug's own life began to change as well. First, he purchased a small bungalow close to his rental flat. Then he began traveling the world.
Put £200 on Natalie J at 4-1.
He also began to visit every horse racing track in the United Kingdom. Since Doug doesn't drive, he hired his good friends Mandy Yallop and Denise Macklin to take him to the track 3 or 4 times each week.
And I'd like 50p exact, please.
Doug gives them betting money, and together they dine in the members-only restaurants and enjoy a day at the races.
My ambition was to see every racecourse in the country, which I've done as far as England is concerned, and now I've got 2 left to do in the British Isles.
Despite Doug's philanthropy and immediate change in lifestyle, he still managed to keep his win a secret from the media. The local folks suspected something, but they protected their neighbor and friend. When a newspaper offered £10,000 to anyone who could identify a lottery winner, no one pointed a finger at Doug.
You wouldn't do that. It was more the fact that the press didn't know that helped him keep it as quiet. I know he was pleased with his neighbours for not blowing the whistle on him.
Not many people that couldn't do with 10 grand. But no, they didn't say a word. Brilliant neighbours I've got, absolutely brilliant. God, does it take 3 of you to change a battery?
Finally, it was Doug's own generosity that blew his cover. Almost a year after winning the lottery, he made a £20,000 donation, equivalent to $35,000 to a local charity, the Surf Life Saving Association. When Doug forgot to specify that the donation was private, the group invited the press to come to the check presentation.
But nobody said anything about the press being there. So the next morning when we go down there, there was every newspaper and his brother. It was total chaos. If I'd known that it was going to be like that, I would have had one of these big checks made. But I was only there with a check from a checkbook.
For almost a year, Doug had avoided publicity. But now, he was comfortable with being a millionaire and with the media attention.
After 10 months, I was used to the good life. I'd learned how to handle myself and my money. It didn't faze me at all. 20, 30, 40, 50. I moved very, very smoothly from being poor to being extremely rich.
Go on, son, he's home and drive. Yes, got a winner at last.
When Doug Wood won the lottery, it was a dream come true. Becoming a millionaire has allowed him to fulfill his greatest pleasure, taking care of his friends and family. He sends them on luxury vacations, buys them necessities, and best of all, shares the pleasure of their company.
Yourself.
Thank you. He's just so generous. He wants to share it. I just wouldn't have seen or done an awful lot of the things that I have done in the last 5 years if it wasn't for Doug.
Meeting Doug does sound a bit thing, but it's like winning the lottery. He's made a few dreams come true, and I am so grateful.
See, I've not only brought pleasure to my life, I've brought pleasure to their lives as well. Well, sorry about that. I got a winner.
All right.
Everybody wants to strike it rich. Even Father Mike Berner, a Roman Catholic priest, dreamt of a big win, often buying lottery tickets and mailing in sweepstakes forms. But when Father Berner suddenly found himself $1 million richer, he had to think carefully about how to balance riches with religion.
You're surprised as all get out when they're there. I don't think anybody actually thinks they're going to come to the door. To you, I personally thought I would never win.
Father Mike Berner was content as a Catholic parish priest in the tiny hamlet of Erling, Iowa. His life was busy with daily mass,
Lord, receive these gifts and let our offerings make us holy.
visits to the elderly,
For Christ did not enter into a sanctuary made by hands.
Yes, sir.
How old were you when you realized that you wanted to be a priest?
and classroom sessions with the local school children.
Christ was anointed priest, prophet, and king. Well, remember, this town's only 400 people, 250 registered households. We're a small country parish. It is a unique little cultural hub.
In keeping with his vocation, he led a simple, no-frills lifestyle, committed to his community and making ends meet on an annual salary of just $14,000.
Thank the good Lord for credit cards, because that's what we lived off of. We ran those up pretty well. Like all good red-blooded Americans, I had a little debt.
Like many of the locals, Father Berner often filled in the sweepstakes entry forms that came in his mail from Publishers Clearinghouse. After all, why not?
I suppose the reason you play it is you think in the back of your mind you might possibly win. For 33-cent investment, it's not a bad return.
It's like winning the lottery. You know, everybody throws $1 to buy a ticket, but do you really think you're going to win?
Then, on a blazing hot day in August of 1998, an unusual event took place in Erling, Iowa. The Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol van had cruised into town, and they were looking for Father Mike.
I came up to the back parking lot here, and the kids said everybody in town's looking for you. And I thought someone had died, because that's usually when someone's looking for the priest. And they said, oh no, the prize patrol's here, and they're looking for you.
Anticipating cameras and dressed only in shorts and a t-shirt, Father Berner quickly changed into his black suit and collar as the doorbell rang.
Father Mike Berner?
I'm pretty quick on my feet once in a while, and I thought, I'm not answering the door looking like this on national TV.
Could you come open the door, please?
Good gravy.
I think the whole town knew it before he did, because we had quite a gathering up here just waiting for him to come.
You've just won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes.
You're kidding.
Congratulations, you just won $1 million.
Come in where it's cooler.
No, you step out for a minute. Come on, step out for a minute.
By the time Father Berner opened his front door, the entire town had congregated in front of the rectory to watch Dave Sayer, head of the Prize Patrol, present Father Berner with a jumbo-sized check for $1 million.
Now that takes your breath away. They ripped the paper off right there on the porch, and they've got your name, and there's no mistake now. It's you. You're the one. Why did I win? The good Lord knows. I have no idea why I won. No idea whatsoever.
Well, Father Berner knew he was blessed to begin with, and this was just one more blessing, but a mighty one.
The following days were a whirlwind. There was an all-expenses-paid trip to New York City, appearances on David Letterman and Rosie O'Donnell, and best of all, in response to a letter he'd sent, Father Berner and a friend were invited to celebrate Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral with Cardinal John O'Connor.
Now, two priests, young priests from southwest Iowa, are never going to go to St. Pat's Cathedral in New York and come celebrate had I not won Publishers Clearinghouse. It has opened a few doors that would otherwise never have been opened.
Though Father Berner won $1 million, any real changes in his day-to-day life were modest. His million is paid in installments over the next 30 years. After an initial payment of $50,000, Father Burner will receive a yearly check for $25,000 until a final lump sum of $250,000 is paid just in time for his retirement at age 68.
I haven't done anything. I bought a new car, but I'm making car payments on it. I reduced the credit a little bit. I haven't taken a tour of the world. I haven't gone on vacation. The wardrobe is still basic black.
Every now and then I see him smoking a cigar, you know, a big old cigar, and I think that's, you know, to me that was something different that he's never done before.
All in all, a fantastic gift, but it's not $1 million up front.
With so much media attention focused on the millionaire parish priest, Father Burner suddenly found himself inundated with donation requests. 400 letters arrived in the first week alone.
And then they keep coming and coming and coming and coming, and he's like, oh my God, I look at all these requests that people need money. He had to do some soul searching and find out, what am I going to do with this money?
I think the misinterpretation is that you have $1 million under the bed, upstairs, cash, ready to go, small denominations, unmarked series. You know, please send as soon as possible. It's not true.
Overwhelmed by the requests, Father Burner finally chose to put most of the money into an educational trust for his nieces and nephews. The rest is donated anonymously to his community and to Catholic charities.
The nice thing is that someone wanted that could really use the money, that's going to take the money and he's going to put it to good use. Sure, he's going to benefit, but his family's going to benefit, and a lot of other people are going to benefit.
Money's money, and there's no U-Haul following the hearse. It's all going to stay on this side. I can't take it with me.
Pray, my brothers and sisters, that our sacrifice this morning may be made acceptable to God, the Almighty Father.
Today, Father Burner still lives happily in Erling, performing his parish duties, guiding his students, and celebrating daily Mass. Having more money hasn't changed his life materially, but it has afforded him more opportunities to help others, and it's given him the thrill of a lifetime.
I think you're like the smallest childhood memory of Christmas. Like when you're about 4 or 5 or 6, and you get up at 4 in the morning and you run down that tree, and it's the most fantastic day of the year. And so you elevate it to adulthood and you say, well, this is probably the most fantastic day of my life. Next to the resurrection, I got nothing to look forward to.
They didn't even know me till now, those people out there.
She's a skilled professional, a good friend, a caring mom, and a hard worker. But when Executive Secretary Deanne Schoening left a secure job to help start a new company, she had no idea that she would also become a millionaire.
I honestly had no idea of what an impact it would have on me.
In 1994, Deanne Schoening was working as a high-level administrative assistant for a computer graphics company in California's Silicon Valley. When her boss, Jim Clark, left to launch a new business, Deanne decided to take the risk and join his venture. Clark named his company Mosaic Communications. Later, it would become known as Netscape. With no guaranteed future and no raise in pay, the one perk Deanne received was 10,000 stock options in the new company at a cost of just $10. At the time, Deanne had no idea what a stock option was, let alone how it would change her life.
I just figured that whatever Jim did was going to turn out great.
Working long hours and with a long commute, Deanne moved into a mobile home park right next door to her parents. With both of them in ill health, Deanne's free time was spent caring for them.
It was extremely stressful, and depending on the day, my mom had cancer and Dad had congestive heart failure. There were some tough times. You know, some days I had to leave early just to go because they had called.
Quickly, the business grew. Jim Clark teamed up with University of Illinois computer scientist Mark Andreessen, and together they created a plan for a computer program that made it possible to more easily navigate the vast internet. Andreessen recruited several students from his university program to write the code. They named the company Netscape. With young students as its primary staff, the fledgling company quickly became more college dorm than business office.
I was constantly, sending them emails that they've got to start cleaning up their mess. And then I started going out and buying groceries because I realized that they were not leaving the office to go and eat. They were not going home to sleep. I mean, I sounded just like their mother, getting after them.
Always a caretaker, Deanne worked tirelessly at her job, earning the nickname Dorm Mom and finally Netscape Mom, a moniker that even ended up on her business card.
She used to go around and make sure people paid attention to things that people who are living a dorm-style life don't pay attention to.
Right. Keeping track of people's showering habits.
Yeah, cleanliness.
Barely a year after Deanne had joined Clark's new venture, Netscape was ready to sell its stock on the New York Stock Exchange. When the board of directors announced that those with founders stock would have their options doubled, Deanne now had 20,000 shares of Netscape. Then Netscape had its first day of trading. The stock performed beyond their wildest expectations. In a matter of hours, Deanne made almost $1.1 million, over 20 times her annual salary.
I figured it was going to be an extremely exciting day, but I had no idea it was going to be that exciting.
While still employed at Netscape, Deanne began selling her stock for cash. She received a total of more than $1.2 million. It was a hefty sum to guarantee her a secure position for life. Then, after years of long hours and hard work, Deanne decided to retire from Netscape. Her administrative assistant days were over. Now, she was looking ahead to Easy Street.
Mom died in October of '95. She couldn't comprehend what was really going on. Dad, of course, saw this excitement and was extremely proud of his daughter. Very proud of his daughter.
Deanne moved out of the mobile home park and bought her dream home in a San Jose Hills retirement community. She's learning to golf and even has her own customized golf cart. But ironically, those early days of retirement turned out to be her biggest challenge.
She knew she wanted to retire, and she had it all in her mind. It was all set. She's going to live the life of leisure and play golf and do all this. But what I see in Deanne is that she really needs and wants to be with people.
And all of a sudden, I'm out of all of that activity. And for the first couple of months, it was fine. But then I started feeling like I was kind of away from everything. And yet I was always busy.
I'm doing fine.
Oh, I love the hair. Hair looks great.
Makes me look younger, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you make another $1 million since you've been gone?
No.
Huh?
So before long, Deanne was back in action. Within 2 years of leaving Netscape, she began working part-time at another startup venture called HopeLink. HopeLink uses internet technology to match patients with clinical trials and treatments. With a parent lost to cancer, it's a cause close to her heart.
I wish that HopeLink was here when Mom and Dad were here, because maybe their lives could have been extended a little bit longer.
But there's no Diet Coke. Money must be having a fit.
At HopeLink, Deanne's administrative skills are once again partnered with her maternal instincts.
When coffee does this to a sink, you really wonder what it does to your stomach.
Even as a millionaire, she's still doing the dishes, still taking care of her kids.
Remember, it's Friday, and any food left in here is thrown out.
She's got such a joy for life and enthusiasm, and it affects everybody around her. She's got the kindest heart of anybody I think I know.
Ryan.
Deanne Schoening hasn't changed since becoming a millionaire. she's still the caretaker, still looking out for everyone else. In fact, she's even thrilled that her story may be helping other secretaries ask for and receive the financial rewards she feels they deserve.
They are asking and getting stock options now. So they're calling me the secretary's role model, which to me is a huge, huge honor.
If anyone deserved becoming a millionaire, I think it's Deanne. Really do. She deserves it. She worked hard for it.
Instant wealth. The odds are against it. Whether it's the lottery, sweepstakes, or casinos, the chances of winning are remote. So when Ian Woodley found himself competing with only 6 other people to win £1 million, he seized the moment and the million to become England's first game show millionaire.
Too old, mate. It's what life is like, playing with paupers. Just common people, you see.
I remember when you never used to speak like that when you had nothing and had to borrow it to pay.
I've always said, you know, I just wanted to have enough money not to ever have to worry and not go to work. Sorry.
Ian Woodley is a regular guy, not one for pretense.
Wave, Laura. Hey? They're alongside us, filming us.
All he ever wanted was a simple life, to take care of his children, hang out with his buddies at the snooker hall, and play music with his friends.
Ian is what you see is what you get. Ian could no more put on airs and graces or change the way he is for the Queen herself. That is Ian.
I don't worry about anything. I just take, you know, whatever happens, happens.
At age 37, Ian Woodley had a business selling children's clothes in London's public markets. But that business came to a crashing halt when his van and all his merchandise were stolen. With no job prospects, 1 year of unemployment turned into 2. Separated from his wife and with 3 children to help support, Ian needed to find a job. But Ian's luck took a dramatic turn when England's popular TV show, TFI Friday, offered a chance for someone to become a millionaire. Competing with the hit game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, TFI Friday created a new segment called Someone's Going to Be a Millionaire. With that guarantee in mind, Ian made numerous phone calls to the show's hotline and qualified as one of the lucky contestants.
But he seemed to have this feeling, he'd said it a couple of times, I'm going to win it.
Before we go to the next ad break, one of these people will become a millionaire.
While the odds of winning the lottery can be 1 in a million, these odds were only 1 in 7. Ian knew he'd never be closer to becoming a millionaire.
I'm never going to get a chance to like be standing, say, with 7 people for $1 million, but it just won't never happen again.
The answer is...
On Christmas Eve 1999, Ian stood alongside 6 other contestants answering questions before a national audience. One by one, the contestants were eliminated.
The questions was just pot luck, and you just got one question at a time. If you got it right, you stayed in. Got it wrong, you was out.
Finally, it was down to Ian. One more correct answer, and he would become a millionaire.
In the last one, I sort of knew, but I thought it was too easy, you know.
For £1 million, what is the answer?
You know, you're fighting with yourself because, like, you know what's at stake. Like, if I get that right, I won $1 million.
The answer is Apple.
Ian Woodley won the equivalent of $1.5 million US. It was the biggest cash prize in television history.
Right, ready, Greg? After this one. Right, go.
With £1 million in the bank, Ian immediately showed his generosity. First paying off his ex-wife's mortgage, then buying her a new 7-seater car to transport their 3 children. There was money for his parents, a vacation weekend for his relatives, and a trip to Tenerife for 12 of his pals. The only thing Ian bought for himself was a new car. Though he'd like to own a nice house, he'd prefer to see his money grow. He's entrusted his fortune to an investment banker and a portfolio of stocks and bonds.
I think with Ian, you know, he's doing things right. Most of it now is invested so that later on, you know, like he and the kids and things, they'll always be okay. That's the main thing.
He's got no intention of ruining it and splashing all his money out. He's invested. That's his future.
Today, Ian receives a weekly allowance of £500. He lives with his girlfriend Kate in her flat, visits his parents daily, and spends time with his kids, picking them up from school and caring for them a few afternoons each week.
He always said he just wanted enough money to do what he wants, not work and play cards and just be able to look after his kids.
At least 4 nights a week, he indulges his favorite pastime at the Kansas City Snooker Hall, playing billiards and cards with his buddies.
Yeah, bit quicker. I did, yeah, right.
And on occasion, even pursues his hobby as a drummer, jamming with friends at a local rehearsal studio.
Well, he wants us to get together more because obviously he's got lots of free time. It's a bit difficult for us working friends.
Just every day's a weekend. Every day's a Saturday for me. So I'm just really lucky, you know.
But winning £1 million doesn't come completely free and easy. There are still fears attached to overnight wealth. For Ian, it's the worry that people expect him to be a big spender, to spread his money around, to buy them things and pay their way.
Now, you worry that people, you know, sort of jealous of you or think less of, you know, I don't know really, or you worry that people expect you to do more.
He still hates losing, he still goes into one when he loses.
But that hasn't stopped Ian from enjoying the simple life he always wanted. He does as he pleases, mostly unchanged by becoming a millionaire.
Probably my belly, it's got bigger. Just eating more, not doing nothing, not working.
He's okay, he's as good as gold, but he hasn't changed at all.
You played him, yeah?
Today, Ian is philosophical about his windfall, wondering what made him the lucky winner.
Like when I go football, like you look around, there's 20,000 people in the crowd. You think, you know, it could have been any one of them sort of thing, and that's just a small thing. And then it's just lucky it was me.
Call it luck, fate, karma, an act of God, or just being in the right place at the right time.
Oh my God! I love you!
There's no other way to explain instant wealth. Whether it comes as a total surprise or after years of betting on the long shot.
Yes! Got a winner at last!
One thing is certain. $1 million will change your life forever. It can bring shock, joy, guilt, even fear and loneliness. While every big winner faces unexpected challenges, they all would agree that becoming an instant millionaire is well worth the price of admission.
If they need it and I can supply it, they can have it. It's as easy as that.
Put all of your heart and soul into it because you will be rewarded.
I'd rather be known as a good priest than a priest with $1 million.
I feel that I'm lucky because I don't want much. I'm a simple man, and life has been good.
Look at that!